Hi, welcome to Dad Knows. So today we're going to continue our march through American history. We're taking a few steps back. Last week we were in 1823 with the Monroe Doctrine. We're actually going back to 1820 today to talk about the Missouri Compromise. So I've got a special guest today. We're going to talk to the Honorable Henry Clay, who was a long-serving Speaker of the House and then also a senator, generally regarded as one of the most powerful politicians ever in America that didn't serve as president. So without any further ado, we'll bring in Henry Clay. Henry Clay?
Yes, sir.
Awesome, it worked again. All right, hey, thank you, Henry Clay, thank you. Welcome to the future. So we brought you in today to talk about the Missouri Compromise. That's one of the things you're known for brokering. You're actually known as the Great Compromiser for a lot of different reasons, just your long political career. But before we get into that, let's talk about a little bit about your background. So you were born in Virginia, but you moved to Kentucky. So you served in the Congress as a representative and a senator from Kentucky, right? So you lived in Kentucky most of your life when you were in Washington. Did you know the Colonel?
Who's the Colonel?
I thought everyone from Kentucky knew. Oh, that's later on. Okay. So anyway.
What's this thing?
No, don't touch that!
Hey, it's me again, John Hanson, first president of the Articles of Confederation. And this is the sword that Cornwallis surrendered to George Washington when I was president. And while he was a general,
All right, once again, John Hanson, everyone, one of the presidents under the Articles of Confederation. He likes to come in from time to time. This is clearly a plastic samurai katana, not the sword that was surrendered by General Cornwallis to General Washington. So we got to get a better prop department here at DadKnows. So we'll get to that later. All right, let's see if we can get Mr. Clay, the Honorable Mr. Clay, back in. So here we go. Oh, okay. You're back. All right.
don't touch that.
Don't touch that. And has anyone ever told you you look a lot like John Hanson? Striking resemblance. Okay. Anyway, so all right, let's get on to the Missouri Compromise. So what was going on with what led to the Missouri Compromise? What was the problem?
So there are two kind of not political parties, but so the southern states wanted to be they're all like slaves. They wanted to have slaves and stuff. And the northern states were kind of more free states.
Okay.
And so they wanted, like Missouri wanted to enter the Union.
Okay.
And so they wanted to be a slave state. So we made a compromise that they could enter the Union as a slave state, but anything below that had to be a slave state. So anything below Missouri had to be a free slave state. And we also made another state to balance the Senate out, Maine, which entered as a free state.
Okay, so Maine was like part of Massachusetts before, and they carved that out. And then by bringing in Missouri and Maine together, you added senators from both, so it kept it like at an exact balance of control. Wow, that's so this was this whole compromise thing. So you guys had two different agreements. You had this kind of the southern states, the slave states, the northern states, the free states, and you couldn't agree. And then you talked it through, and both of you and you came to this agreement, and you just kind of made a deal.
That's
Is that
a
right?
compromise.
A compromise. Wow. So that's how y'all used to do things back then. You would
Don't
work.
you still do that? You compromise?
All right, let's move on. Anyway, so so a lot of people think that this Missouri Compromise, while I don't want to give anything away to you, but some bad things are still going to happen, and good things really in our country. But Thomas Jefferson, for instance, thought that Missouri kind of started towards the end of the Union, whereas he thought the Missouri Compromise maybe staved off the death of the Union for a little while longer. So, again, spoiler alert, there is going to be a war about 40 years after this. So it's coming. But you do a good job in kind of staving it off. So anyway, thank you so much for coming in today and just A, teaching us about what a compromise is, and B, telling us specifically about the Missouri Compromise. So thank you once again, the Great Compromiser. I'm going to send you back now. I'm sure you got busy stuff to do, Speaker of the House and what all. Okay. All right. So thank you so much, and we'll see you later. Wow. Henry Clay, everyone. It's fantastic to have him here. All right. So now we'll have a quick word from our sponsors, and then we'll wrap this episode up. Have an argument with two sides and can't get it figured out? seek out Clay's Compromising Consultants. That's right, Clay's Compromising Consultants can come on down and solve all your problems. Half the family wants pizza, half the family wants cheeseburgers. Cheeseburger pizza. Think you're too cool for a minivan? Kind of want a truck? We'll put you in a crossover SUV. That's right, come on down to Clay's Compromising Consultancy to get all of your problems straightened out. All right, thank you to our sponsors, Clay's Compromising Consultancy. We'll do a wrap up here on the Missouri Compromise. So as Henry Clay and I discussed, big deal, brought in 2 states. Missouri was coming in anyway, so they created Maine to kind of balance out the Senate. Also, while Missouri could be a slave state, from that point forward, nothing north of the Missouri border could be a slave state. So all slave states in the future would have to be below the southern border of Missouri, and everything north of the bottom border of Missouri would be a free state. So while it didn't fully stop the Civil War from happening, it did kind of push it further off into the horizon, but it was coming. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us today on Dad Knows. If you liked it today, subscribe to this channel and like, and you won't miss any great content from us. So thank you so much.